Once upon a time, a long, long time ago, there lived a man named Daedalus and his young son, Icarus. Daedalus was an inventor and a skilled craftsman. He created wonderful mechanical creations and built architectural marvels. One day, King Minos invited Daedalus to the Island of Crete. The king asked him to build a huge maze for his beloved pet, the Minotaur. A Minotaur was a monstrous creature who was half man and half bull. Daedalus worked day and night along with his son to build the labyrinth. He made it so complicated that anyone who entered the maze would get lost for eternity. He was such a fine architect. When the labyrinth was ready, the king was amazed at Daedalus' skills and rewarded him. Daedalus and Icarus decided to stay on the island for some more days. It was during this time that a group of children arrived at Crete. They sailed away the next day, taking the king's daughter with them, and they had killed the Minotaur too. King Minos was stricken with grief. He believed Daedalus helped the children, as there was no other way they could get out of the maze alive. But Daedalus was innocent, and he had no clue about what happened. The king punished Daedalus and Icarus by keeping them as prisoners on the island of Crete. The father and son were helpless. How could they ever get out of this island without the ships? One day, Daedalus noticed the birds flying in the air. Wings, Daedalus thought. He knew he needed wings to escape from the island. From that day, they both began to gather all the bird feathers they could find. Daedalus glued them together with wax, one by one. After many days of hard work, Daedalus finished making 2 pairs of wings. He then decided that it was time to escape from the island. He called Icarus and gave him instructions. You must never fly too close to the sun, as the wax may melt. Fly too close to the ocean, and your wings will become too heavy with water that sprays off the waves. Icarus nodded in agreement. They flapped their wings, and wonder of wonders, they rose up in the air. They flew up in the air, and when they looked back, they could see the island of Crete far behind them. Icarus was excited, and he flew higher and higher. "Stop, or the wax will melt," Daedalus shouted when he saw Icarus flying close to the sun. But Icarus was too far away, or too lost in his own happy thoughts of excitement to listen to his father's warnings. Before soon, the sun began to melt the wax and feathers started falling off. "Help me!" shouted Icarus. But before Daedalus could reach his son, Icarus started falling. Poor Icarus plunged into the water and drowned. Daedalus landed as quickly as he could on the beach near where Icarus had fallen. But the only sign of his son was a few feathers floating in the waves. He named the island Icaria in memory of his son. On the beach where he landed, he built a temple to the sun god Apollo, and inside it hung the wings he had created, vowing never to fly again. Once upon a time, a long time ago, there lived a king named Minos. He was very powerful and evil too. Minos had built a giant maze, a labyrinth, and at the center of the maze, he kept a terrifying creature, the Minotaur. Now this was no ordinary animal. It was a monster, half man and half bull. Minos took pleasure in attacking Athens, a tiny village across the sea, every now and then. The king of Athens did not have the resources to fight Minos, and his kingdom suffered a great deal whenever Minos' navy attacked them. King Minos offered them a deal. He asked the king of Athens to send 7 boys and 7 girls every year to be eaten by the Minotaur. The king of Athens did not have any other option other than to accept the deal. From that year, 7 boys and 7 girls were sent to the dreaded Island of Crete, where the Minotaur was kept. King Minos kept his word, and he did not attack Athens anymore. Prince Theseus, the son of the king, was very sad to see the small children leave the island every year. He knew that this was a wrong thing to do, so he came up with an idea. He was going to kill the monster. His father begged him not to go, but the prince took his place as the 7th Athenian boy. Along with the other Athenian boys and girls, Theseus sailed towards Crete. As the ship docked in Crete, King Minos himself came down to inspect the prisoners from Athens. He enjoyed the chance to taunt the Athenians and to humiliate them even further. Standing behind the king, listening, was his daughter, Ariadne. From the moment she set eyes on Theseus, Ariadne fell in love with him. As she listened to her father goading and taunting the young prince, she decided that she would help him. Later that night, she wrote a letter and slipped it under the bedroom door of Theseus. When Theseus read the letter, he slipped out of the palace and met Ariadne. She was holding a sword and a ball of string. Ariadne told the prince to use the sword to kill the Minotaur. Then she told him to tie the string to the door and unroll it as he moved through the maze. Theseus thanked the princess for her kindness. "Don't forget now," she cautioned Theseus. "You must take me with you to Athens." Prince Theseus promised to take her with him. The guards took the Athenian children the next morning and shoved them into the maze. Then they locked the door from the outside. Theseus followed Ariadne's advice to the word. He tied one end of the string to the door, and the other children firmly held onto it, making sure it stayed tied. Theseus searched through the maze and found the Minotaur. What followed was a great fight. Prince Theseus fought bravely, and he finally managed to kill the Minotaur using the sword that Ariadne gave him. The prince then followed the string to get out of the maze, and when he arrived at the door, he saw Princess Ariadne smiling and waiting for him. She opened the door with her keys, and along with other children, they ran to the ship. "I cannot believe how my life has changed," said Ariadne as they sailed across the calm seas. "I am free of my cruel father, and that I will soon marry you." But in the truth, Theseus did not find Ariadne attractive, and he wanted to get rid of her somehow. They stopped at an island on the way to get provisions. Ariadne too got out of the ship, and she strolled along the beach. Soon, she got bored and fell asleep. All the people gathered to admire the sleeping princess. Theseus sailed quietly away with the children of Athens and left her there, sleeping.